We're counting down the minutes to the first pitch of today's game. Yes! Who's in the starting lineup?
Come on, son. You got to get out there and take the mound. It's game time.
What does the skipper have to say?
It's an attitude. You got to be willing to defend. You got to be willing to base run, or you can't play here.
It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Tommy Wortz on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Yes, welcome into the leadoff show. We are live from Natty Oaks on National. Yeah, game 3. Here we go. Brewers, Cubs, 1 hour away. It'll be Quinn Priester on the bump for Milwaukee going up against Jamison Tyone of Chicago. 4:08 first pitch from Wrigley Field. Where Wrigley Field, Booze, right? Yeah, no, after that? Yeah, there it is. All right, let's get to the rest of the lineups. Hit it.
Looking up, and it is long.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Thanks again to Lakeland University for being a part of the leadoff show all season long. First up, leading off for the Chicago Cubs, Michael Busch at first base. Nico Horner at second base will bat second. Kyle Tucker, the DH, will bat third.
Hold on.
All right. It took
Sparky Pfeiffer's here with me in case you didn't know.
Listen, we are on remote and Natty Oaks, right? You say the first name, these people boo. Sit down. Say the second name. Let them boo. Right?
Should I start over? Let me start over.
Let's start
Okay,
over.
leading off at first base, Michael Busch. All right, batting second at second base, Nico Horner. The DH, Kyle Tucker. Batting fourth in right field, Seiya Suzuki. Batting fifth in left field, it'll be Ian Happ. Carson Kelly is catching. He will bat six. Pete Armstrong in center field, batting seventh. Dan Swanson, the shortstop,
and Matt Shaw at third base rounds things out. He bats 9
for the Cubs. They are managed by Craig Counsell. Now let's get to the lineup for the
Milwaukee Brewers, right? Yes. Leading things off, the DH, Christian Yelich.
Yeah.
Batting second in left field, Jackson Chourio.
Yeah, there you go.
Second base, batting third, it'll be Bryce Terang.
Yeah.
Catching, batting fourth, William Contreras.
Yeah.
Batting fifth in right field, Sal Frelick. Batting sixth at third base, it's Caleb Durbin. At first base, batting seventh, Jake Bowers. Man, I really wanted that one to be louder. I wanted that one to be the loudest.
You're the only one. You're the only one that loves them. You're the only one. You're
batting eighth in center field, it'll be Brandon Lockridge. And rounding things out, the shortstop batting ninth today, Joey Ortiz. That's the lineup for your Milwaukee Brewers.
Who's the manager?
In Game 3. Managed by, of course, Mr. Pat Murphy. Yeah. There it is. It is the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. We are live at Natty Oaks over here. Charlie Beck in the studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. First segment, we always go over the game before. That last game, that one was pretty awesome, Sparky. I'll bring you in here. Game 2, the Brewers handle business. 3 homers in the contest. Jackson Chourio, Andrew Vaughn doing their thing as well. Your reactions to Game 2 on your confidence level after that first 2 games going into Game 3 now?
Yeah, you feel real good, right? I mean, the odds of them losing the next 3 games to the Chicago Cubs is not very high. They're going to win one of these next 3 games, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow. I can't imagine this gets back to Milwaukee on Saturday, but if that were to happen, I still think they win Game 5 because it's going to be Freddie Peralta in Game 5. Having said that, what we need to figure out here is the Euchre magic working again? Are we back to August? Are we back to 14-game winning streak? Are we back to this offense cooking and having a problem trying to figure out how to slow down the train before it runs you over? Because right now, the train is going choo-choo, and it's heading to Wrigley.
It looks really good right now. Brewers 2 games now up on the Chicago Cubs in the NLDS. The Brewers trying to win just their 4th series in postseason history. Do you
Sad.
understand that?
So sad.
That back in 82, all you had to do was win the one series, and you
Yeah.
go to the World Series. They have never won a National League Championship Series. The 2 NLDSs were back in 2018, 2011. They have not won a playoff series since 2018. Trying to get that done today with our guy, Quinn Priester, on the bump. It's his first postseason start. They didn't have to use him in game 2. They did a little bit of gamesmanship, Sparky, in game 2 on showing maybe there was a chance he was going to be there. But now Quinn Priester gets the start. He's got game 3, the first one in Wrigley.
That's a beautiful thing. I loved it. I was all about it when we were talking about this as far as who was going to come after Ashby. Nobody said Nick Mears, obviously, but everybody assumed it was going to be Priester. And by doing it this way, what Murphy pretty much said was, A, I trust Mizorowski, and B, he said, I want to knock these dudes out in game 3, which I was all about. And then I saw the lineup and realized that's not what the plan was. But either way, I still like the idea of Priester in game 3. Why? Because he's the guy that's gone deeper in games more consistently than anybody else in this rotation, including Freddie Peralta, with all due respect, right? He's a ground ball pitcher. You get guys on first and second against Quinn Priester, I don't start sweating. I don't start worrying about him. It's like, oh, he'll get a double play, and that'll be the end of this. And that's just what he does consistently. Then you match that up to the idea that the wind is blowing in at Wrigley on top of everything else. That also helps the Milwaukee Brewers in this game 3 situation here. Brewers don't need to hit home runs to win games. They can win other ways. They scored 9 runs in the first game, didn't hit 1 ball out of the ballpark at American Family Field. I think it affects the Cubs probably more than it affects the Brewers.
Well, and when you point to the pressure of this series now is the pressure now on the Brewers here at this point?
Nope.
Because why would it be on the Cubs? I think now you have to make sure that you win this series still here, Sparky. I think that you must get past this Chicago team, especially because the first 2 games, this wasn't just Brewers baseball. It was Brewers baseball is better than Cubs baseball during this. It was never a question of, hey, things have to go the Brewers' way in order to get wins. It was the Milwaukee Brewers are going to be better night in and night out over the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, look, they're going to win this series. They're not losing 3 in a row. I mean, all the pressure is on the Chicago Cubs to try and stay alive in this series to play tomorrow. From a Brewer fan perspective, like I said earlier, if they lose this game, I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, they're going to lose the series. Like, no, okay, whatever. We'll play tomorrow. We'll win tomorrow. We'll move on. I'm not all that worried about it. I don't think there's a ton of pressure on the Brewers. I think there is pressure on the $8 million man, the trader, managing that ball club in Chicago. You know, you're the highest paid manager in baseball, and you're going to get beat by a team to the north where you used to manage that you left to come here because you thought the grass was greener here, you know, in Chicago than it was in Milwaukee. If that team knocks you out, first of all, they won the division twice over you. First year, it was by 10 games. I don't know what it ended up being this year, but it was by a bunch of games this year as well. And now you're going to get knocked out by them in the playoffs too, by the guy that replaced you. Your bench coach beats you this year too. That's a horrible look for the trader in Chicago. For me, all the pressure's on those guys.
Let's go back to game 2. We talked about his name for just a little bit there. I assume really the only man not available, Jacob Mizorowski, for the Brewers heading into game 3. I could see everyone else being, ready for their name called other than Freddie or Quintana, of course, too. But as far as his performance, we were talking about it a little bit after, and you had said that that's why you put him on a postseason roster. You could feel that he had some sort of clutch gene. Do you see that he's going to have this role for the entire postseason now, or this was strictly an NLDS position for Jacob Mizorowski?
Can I answer a question with a question?
Let's do it.
Who's your 4th starter in the NLCS?
I wonder if they're going to do it. What's the off day situation like in the NLCS too? We've had a day off in between every game of the NLDS. Can they not have a 3-man rotation going into the NLCS if they get to that? I don't think they want to bring him out in that situation as a starter again after what he did in the bullpen. You talk about the growth he made. Like, can't you just be satisfied with growth after one game, or you want him to continue to learn how to pitch in the postseason at this point?
Here's your schedule for the NLCS. They will play on Monday the 13th. Okay. And then they would play Tuesday right away as well. So Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday.
Well, if they got things done today, you could easily go Freddie Quinn game 1 and game 2.
Sure, maybe. Yeah. Right. So it's Monday, Tuesday. Then it's off Wednesday. Then you play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That 3-game series in LA against the Dodgers, again, you're going to need a fourth starter. Now, I'll say this. They could go right back to the well and do another bullpen game. They could go right back, start Ashby, and come back with Mizorowski behind them and not have a fourth starter. Or is Chad Patrick the fourth starter? Is that a guy you like go out there and pick?
I thought what he did in game 2 as well was good
yes,
stuff, though, too.
Absolutely.
I like his role. And that's another guy that throughout the regular season didn't get a lot of love if he came in as a starting pitcher. The boys just didn't get up for him like they did for Quinn Priester all year. Priester is a guy that they won 19 straight games in which he pitched in this season, and that wasn't because he pitched 19 beautiful games in a row. They had to get some offense, and the Brewers behind him during that stretch as well. He did have a 2.8 ERA during that time. He looked good for sure, but there's got to be moments where the offense picks him up as well in those games.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. The other thing about this, I think when you start talking about pitching and who's going to be available and what you expect out of certain guys, the performance of McGill in game 2 was a big deal because I think there were some question marks on McGill and what he was going to look like coming out of that bullpen. And McGill has already said, I don't give a damn where I pitch out of the bullpen. I don't care if I'm the closer, if I pitch in the 5th, 6th, 7th, just give me the damn ball and let me pitch. And he came out and pitched really well. You know, if Kanan continues to be dominant and McGill can pitch the 8th and if Uribe is going to pitch the 9th, you really are looking to cover 6 innings. Well, I can cover 6 innings with one guy getting me 4 and a combination of 2 other guys going the 5th and the 6th. And to get us home in most of these situations, you don't need, I don't think, I mean, we'll see how this goes in the NLCS. I don't think you need somebody to go 7 innings in order to get through a game.
No, it is the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer live at Natty Oaks. As we are getting ready for game 3.
NLCS, though.
I'm talking NLCS the entire time. You can tell where we are on our stance on what's going to happen in this series. Let's talk about the lineup a little bit today because you had some gripes with it. The lineup was amazing the first 2 games on their performance, right? But they went against lefties, those two games. So now there's a righty and Jamison Tyone pitching for Chicago today, and the Brewers mixed things up a little bit. There is 2 names. Andrew Vaughn, Blake Perkins out, Jake Bauers, Brandon Lockridge in. But I personally think that if I was going to question the lineup, which I have already stopped doing at this point, I kind of get more concerned about Jackson Churio moving down from 1 to 2. I would like to see him, the guy who's batting over 700 in this series, to continue to just get as many at-bats as possible, especially when the bottom part of the order has been performing like it has been, to get him to have these moments with guys on base. Your thoughts, Sparky?
Y'all just hitting like 200 in the leadoff spot this year.
Yeah.
It's like 200. His slug is like 250. And again, it's not a huge sample size. It's like 25, 26 at bats, whatever it is. So it's not gigantic. But you're making decisions on Vaughn of whether or not he's going to play. He's 3 for 9 against this dude. Bauers is 1 for 9. Mm-hmm. Again, with all due respect to angering my guy, Tommy Wortz here, who is, I believe in Pat Murphy. With all due respect, I feel like this is a little league lineup. Like everybody's got to play in the playoffs. Everybody's got to get a start. That's how it's going to be. I don't want mom and dad mad at me. So we're going to let Lockridge start a playoff game, and we're going to let Bauers get out there and start a playoff game. And I made the argument earlier, like, okay, maybe this is just to make sure they're sharp. Get them some at-bats, make sure they stay sharp, right? Getting ready to go into the next series and so forth. Let them get their feet wet into this. So when they need them in the NLCS for whatever the case may be, off the bench or whatever, it's not their first time coming up to a hostile environment or whatever the case may be. Maybe that's the reasoning. But if you're trying to sell me that this is the best lineup you can put out against Jamison Tyone, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it.
I believe it's the lineup they believe is the best lineup. That's where I am with it. Yeah, I understand what Andrew Vaughn did in game 1 and 2. Awesome. You want to keep him out there, but you don't think there's going to be some gamesmanship in this lineup? But Pat Murphy has dominated Craig Counsell on any sort of gamesmanship and strategy as far as the pre-lineup, who's pitching, who's coming out after. He has dominated him this entire time. What would make you think that there wasn't going to be some sort of move later on in this game?
Now I understand. So now he's just showing off. Now he's like, hey, I'm going to throw my crap at you, and we're still going to beat you to win this damn thing. That's the showmanship. Now I understand. I'm on. Yes.
It is.
Okay, I get
now
it.
There's going to be a counter move from Counsell during this, and he's going to overthink it. He's been in his head rent-free right now for 2 games.
If I was that trader down there, I'd gather my team around and go, Look at this. Look at what he's batting against you. Look at you. He doesn't even respect you. This Lockridge guy shouldn't even be on a postseason roster. He's starting you. He doesn't respect you. That's what I'd be telling my team. If I was the trader, I'd be telling all of them, man, he doesn't even respect you. Look at what he's throwing out there against us.
The Cubs lineup has not been that great for some time now. Michael Busch has been fantastic for them. He hit 34 homers. Nico Horner, they moved him up too because he's been great. After that, you have one hit from Seiya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker, and Ian Happ, both nothing.
The Suzuki hit was a home run, though, if we're being honest.
Yes, exactly. Right. It was a big one for a half an inning, too, on top of it. That's it. That's true. Pete Crow Armstrong hasn't been anything to write home about, Dansby Swanson either, and Matt Shaw's just been getting walked every time. So there really isn't a lot of guys who scare you in the Cubs lineup either at this point, if I'm Pat Murphy and showing that the team their own lineup.
Sure, but again, he's putting his A lineup out there. He's not just picking random dudes off the bench and starting them in his lineup on a day-to-day basis like what Murphy's doing today.
I think you have to stop looking at the Brewers' names and thinking that they aren't doing the right thing, that they aren't the ones out there capable of doing the right thing either. Because, quite honestly, this Brewers team, you've said this about the lineup many a times this year, Sparky. This is not only one time you've said, I don't like the lineup. I don't like what they're doing. There is just flat out not a lot of star power in the Brewers lineup, but as a team, they have played better than everyone else this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said it before, and that is, and I brought up with John Heyman when he, MLB Network Insider, when he joined us in the last hour, Wisconsin Sports Daily. This is bigger than just winning a World Series for the Brewers, man. I'm sorry. I think it's bigger. I think this is almost like Golden State, where Golden State in the NBA changed the NBA to where everybody jacks 53s a game.
Yes.
And I brought it up to him, and I was just like, hey, man, like, if they win this thing, like if the Brewers actually win it and finish it, do GMs around baseball start thinking about building their roster more
100%.
similar to the Milwaukee Brewers?
Guys, teams like Tampa Bay, teams like Oakland, the small markets, 100%.
Right.
This is what it's doing. It is something that the Brewers are trying to put out to be a part of a microcosm of the MLB right now. It's not just trying to see what this Brewers team can do. This is bigger than that, I think, Sparky. I think baseball is watching this Brewers team. And there was a good line, one of the very few on the broadcast from TBS. I believe it was Ron Darling talking about it, how a lot of organizations tried to mold themselves after the Tampa Bay Rays, after all of those years.
And that's where Matt Arnold came from. Well, now that narrative is completely shifted. It's how can they be like the Brewers, right? There hasn't been a lot of postseason success, but 7 of 8 years in the postseason, those are numbers you just can't deny at some point too. Absolutely. Again, we start talking about why is this team as good as they have been for as long as they have been. It's the organization, man. It's top to bottom. And as much as some of you want to kill Atanasio as the owner for not spending more money and not having a bigger budget and all of that, is that fair? Yeah, I guess it's fair. But he's going to work within a budget. He's not going to go into his own personal bank account and throw money at this thing. Bucks owners, okay, they do that. But the Brewers owners, they're not going to do that. Bud Selig did not do that. Herb Cole, he did do that. These guys aren't going to do it. So from that perspective, you're just wasting energy getting mad about it. But what you can give Mark Attanasio credit for is not firing Doug Melvin when he got here, right? Not firing Rick Schlesinger when he got here, and letting these guys run the organization and trust them and see what happens. Then trusting Doug Melvin with a decision to put, at that point, his name was Craig Counsell, in as manager and see what happens. Then to trust again on David Stearns coming from Houston and bringing Matt Arnold, and then forcing Stearns to keep Counsell for a year to see if they could work together. And they seemingly figured it out. And that marriage and how that grew. And then to have a backup in Matt Arnold to replace Stearns and not lose a beat. To have Pat Murphy, because he didn't have to do that. He could have went with a younger guy. Now I want to go with some old guy. I want a younger guy. Got all these young guys coming up. I don't need an old guy. He went with the old guy. That's work. Mark Attanasio deserves all the credit in the world for this run so far.
It is the leadoff show. We are live at Natty Oaks. Here, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Tommy Wortz with you. Charlie Usen back in the studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up on the other side, we're going to get to our guy, Austin Herdina, over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Win me
get you
some
some
money.
of the best bets if you want to get any action on today. Plus, we got some audio from Pat Murphy earlier today as well, speaking to the media. Drew Wagner joins the program in about 20 minutes or so. It is the leadoff show. Charlie Usen back in the studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 1057 FM The Fan.
Welcome back to the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from Natty Oaks. Charlie Usen back in the studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers lineup one more time in case you missed it earlier in the show. Christian Yelich, the DH, to lead things off for Milwaukee. Jackson Chourio in left field will bat second. Bryce Terang at second base will bat third. William Contreras is catching, batting fourth today. Sal Frelick in right field will bat fifth. Caleb Durbin at third base will bat sixth. Jake Bowers at first base bats seventh today. Brandon Lockridge in center field will bat eighth. Rounding things out, the shortstop, Joey Ortiz.
At the wall, looking up, see you later.
Let's get the latest on today's odds for the game. What's the best way to go? Let's check in with our expert from the Potawatomi Sportsbook to find out. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 1057 FM, The Fan.
Before I get to my guy Austin Herdina, I got a comment on the YouTube page. Craig Counsell, Mark Jackson, so Pat Murphy could Steve Kerr. Like, that's beautiful, Turner. Shout out to Turner in the YouTube chat. Joining us now, Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. It is our guy, Austin Herdina, over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Austin, how are we doing today, my friend?
Very good. Very excited for another Brewer game today.
Looks like it could be everything we're all hoping for. The odds, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, dead even right now. Minus 108 for either side on the money line. Brewers at plus 170 at minus 1.5 on the run line, and the over-under set at 6.5 today. Austin, what are you liking so far over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to get a nice little parlay for the people going, which, by the way, hit in Game 2?
Absolutely, yeah. That was a great win. Love to see the Brewers up 2-0 right now. Hitting that parlay for the people is awesome. Here's the theme today. The theme today is jackpot, 777. Let me explain that. Christian Yelich has had a hit in his last 7 playoff games.
Nice.
The Cubs, when they're a home game at Wrigley Field in playoff games, it's gone under in 7 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
And then, unfortunately, the Brewers have lost each of their last 7 road playoff games. 777. You put those 3 in a parlay, that means Yelich to get a hit, under 6.5 for the total, and unfortunately, the Cubs win. That's plus 525.
Plus 525.
The numbers say it all right there. Plus
yeah, the
525.
numbers.
Do I want the Cubs to win? Absolutely not. Do I think they will? I think they might.
Plus 525, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's a Christian Yelich hit at the under of 6.5, and the Cubs on the money line today from Austin Herdina over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to get a nice little parlay for the people going today. Winds blowing in today, Austin. You like anyone on the homer lines at all during this stretch?
You know, Suzuki has been hitting a hot bat. He's had a home run in 4 of his last 5 games. I think that if I'm betting someone on that, it's probably Suzuki.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but like I love this Brewer team, but we need to win some playoff games on the road. And until it happens, I don't want to be putting my money on it.
What about pitcher props? Anything you like over there?
Let's take a look at that. Yeah, pitcher props. We have, let's see, Quinn Priester, 3.5 strikeouts. I feel like that's pretty low, especially with the total being low and expecting it to be more of a pitcher's game.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know how long he's going to go. I don't know if we're going to be using the bullpen again today or what. So 3.5, that's a good number. Talion, looks like he's, I mean, there's a lot of juice on the under 3.5. It's all the way up to minus 195.
Yeah. I think that's because everyone's just hoping the Brewers knock him out early again.
Over 3.5.
Yeah, over on 3.5 for Priester if you like those two. But our parlay for the people, Christian Yelich to record a hit, the under of 6.5. Cubs on the money line pays plus 525, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Austin, what are some things that people need to know about happening over at Potawatomi coming up here in the future?
Hey, I'll tell you what, we have a multiplier now on Sunday mornings from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. you get there early, you're going to get 5 times the points on your sports bets. So it's early bird special, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sunday mornings. We just have 4 MLB playoff games today. It's the last day of the year that we're going to have 4 baseball games on the same day. It's also the start of 49 consecutive football games, whether it's college football or NFL, starting today. We get those Tuesday and Wednesday games, in the MAC and some other conferences. If you're coming in and you want baseball and football, we got it. NBA regular season's around the corner. Preseason's going right now. WNBA finals are going on. Great month for sports. NHL had the opening night yesterday, right? Just a great month for sports. So come on into the sports book.
We'll have to do Potawatomi Sportsbook parlay for the people one last time. Christian Yelich to record a hit. The under of 6.5. Cubs on the money line pays plus 525, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Austin, have a great rest of your day, my friend. And, of course, go Brewers.
Go Brewers.
There he is, Austin Herdina, over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, giving you the parlay for the people. Not in the Brewers' favor for the first time in a while today, but hopefully all things can change around. I want to get into this feature here. It's presented by Ironworkers Local 8. It is our Eye on the Enemy feature before we continue on here. Go ahead, hit that one, Charlie.
Nobody likes them.
Craig Counsell returning to American Family Field.
We all want to see them lose.
It's not my job to tell people how to feel about something or even to figure it out. Let people feel how they want to feel. And I'm good with that, and I think it doesn't have to be all positive.
It's time to eye up the enemy for today's game. It's the Leadoff Show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Thanks again to Ironworkers Local 8 for being a part of the Leadoff Show all season long. Eye on the Enemy, where we go to now. It is the Brewers' career versus Jameson Taillon. As you know, he's had some stints with Chicago, the Yankees, and, of course, the Pirates as well, where him and Priester both came up in the exact same organization. Christian Yelich batting .351 has 2 homers off Jameson Taillon in his career, and Jackson Chourio, .538, 7 for 13 with a home run as well versus Jameson Taillon. The rest of the Brewers lineup has struggled. Terang's 4 for 20, Contreras 4 for 24, Sal Frelick 5 for 20. Sal Frelick, by the way, just 1 hit, 1 for 8 in the first 2 games of this series. He is the lowest batting average by any Brewer on the field today in the postseason. Caleb Durbin's 1 for 7, Jake Bauers 1 for 9, Joey Ortiz 2 for 11. On the other side of things, how the Cubs have fared against Quinn Priester this season. Michael Busch is 2 for 8, has a homer. Nico Horner is 4 for 10 with the long ball as well. Seiya Suzuki and Pete Crow Armstrong both have taken him deep in the past. Ian Happ's batting 3 for 6. Matt Shaw as well, 1 for 2. There has been some success for the Chicago Cubs against Quinn Priester specifically. We have a little bit of time here. I want to play you some of Pat Murphy speaking to the media before the game. We'll probably cut it off in the middle of it somewhere so we can get to our guy, Drew Wagner. But here is Pat Murphy speaking to the media earlier today.
Murph, could you give us the reasoning, the thinking behind going Lockridge and Bowers in those 2 spots?
Yeah, this is, I put a lot of time into it, got a lot of research into it. But, both of those guys are playing great. Lockridge deserves a chance, and it gives us some flexibility in the middle of the game. You don't feel like the starter is going to go that far. We still have weapons in the middle of the game and guys we want to end the game. So it's just a little bit of a instead of starting, we're maybe using our more reserves first. Okay. Yes.
Todd. I see Jackson's in the lineup. Is he shown improvement since yesterday? What's he saying today about how he feels?
Well, obviously he didn't do much yesterday, but I think he feels as good as he felt the day before yesterday.
Adam, right in the front, second row.
Murph, just to follow up on the first part, Perk is
100%. 100%.
that's just flexibility to deploy him wherever you want. And is it partially in case Jackson has to come out again that you have?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that we will use a replacement if we're in a position to. You kind of can't plan on that, but they're a little bit interchangeable. The way Tyon has thrown lately, his sequencing and that type of stuff, we're probably going to see him twice around. And then we're going to see other people, and it kind of dictates how they use the other people. And yeah, it's just kind of all hands on deck right now.
A few more from Murph. Come over here on the right.
Hello.
Hi.
We know the series still has one more win for you guys to go through the championship series, but are you looking at all at the next opponent?
We're not looking at the next opponent. We know how good the Cubs are, and we respect them. And we know how tough it is to win when teams have their back to the wall. So we're taking today like the only game we have, and, we're going after it.
We'll stay on the right side. We'll go back to the fourth row.
Murph, they say the final out's always the hardest out. Final win in a series is probably the hardest win as well. Why is that?
The final out?
The final out of a game is always the toughest out. Is it the same thing for the final win of a series? Is it the hardest one to get?
I mean, yes. And because nothing matters until you get it. You know what I mean? So there's no other win that matters until you get it. And when the other team is playing to hang on, it's it makes it difficult. You really have to rise above all the emotion and rise above all the tension and pressure in the game and still be able to perform right to the very end. And our sport, baseball, where how the ball bounces can dictate a win or a loss, it makes it very it's the reason you play more than one game, winner take all.
Stay here on the right side.
Hi again. How do you deal with your young players to deal with the pressure of this scenario? Obviously, you guys ended up with the best record in baseball, but for some of your players, it's the first time they're in these stances, Yeah.
I think the best way that I can describe it, when you're doing it with a group and you're close to that group, it's easier to do it. If we're all walking together arm in arm, it's easier to face those type of pressures together and then be responsible to each other.
There is the manager, Pat Murphy, speaking to the media earlier today. That audio courtesy of our guy, Drew Wagner, Forbes Sports. He's coming up right after another break. It is the leadoff show. We are live at Natty Oaks here. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Tommy Wortz, Charlie Beck in the studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 1057 FM, The Fan.
Welcome back to the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz, Josh Albrecht along with me for the next segment here. Hello. As we are live at Natty Oaks. Charlie back in the studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers lineup one last time for you guys here today. Christian Yelich, the DH, to lead things off. Jackson Churio in left field will bat second. Bryce Terang at second base bats third. William Contreras is catching, batting fourth. Sal Frelick in right field will bat fifth. Caleb Durbin at third base will bat sixth. Jake Bowers at first base bats seventh today. Brandon Lockridge in center field batting eighth. Joey Ortiz is the shortstop batting ninth.
What's the latest on the crew? Let's go inside the clubhouse with Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports on the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 1057 FM, The Fan. Inside the clubhouse is brought to you by Focus Baseball. Join their fall mini camps at focusbaseball.com.
Joining us now, Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. You can follow his work at Forbes Sports. Follow him on Twitter @byAndrewWagner. It is Drew Wagner joining us here on the leadoff show. Uncle Drew, how are we doing today, my friend?
Just another day in paradise, brother.
Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware of the paradise that you consistently live in, Mr. Drew Wagner. Looking ahead today, Drew, at game number 3, Brewers, everyone seeming to be healthy, seeming to be ready to go, but the Brewers decide to play a matchup game, a couple of different changes to the lineup, and Pat Murphy pretty much continuing his gamesmanship on Mr. Council, it seems like now, Drew.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting lineup. And you know, I'm not surprised by it with Taillon, on the mound today. It gives you some more flexibility going up against their bullpen. It makes their job tougher when they go to relievers. You know that Taillon is going to be a beast. So you do a couple of different things early, and you give yourself some flexibility. I actually like the way that he's going into this. I like the thought. I like the approach.
I agree. I think the same way. And I've learned, if I've learned anything from you this year, Drew, it's home runs are thrown, they're not hit, and just don't care about the lineup. Don't care anymore. After 2 games, I don't care about the lineup anymore. Does not matter. Whatever the Brewers are sending out there, I have faith in it all the way. Drew Wagner joining us here on the Fan Guest Hotline. Drew, Quinn Priester making his postseason debut. They didn't have to use him in game 2. Now he gets the moment. He's from Illinois. Expectations today for Mr. Quinn Priester, and if things are going well, how does he do that?
It's going to be basically his bread and butter. It's relying on that sinker. As long as he's locating the sinker and he feeds guys off guard with the cutter, the occasional slider, and being able to mix in the change. I look at all that time. Like, he's got a 5-pick mix, and for him to be successful, he's got to be able to utilize all 5 of them. He doesn't have to be heavy on them. It doesn't have to be neutral all the way around. He knows how he's setting them up, but he's got to be able to use all 5 to navigate through the lineup. I think it's probably a bit much to expect him to go out and give you the 7 innings that we've kind of become used to with Quinn Priester, but if he can get through that lineup twice, and minimize the damage, keep him to a run or 2, maybe their obligatory first inning home run, I think that's a good sign.
One more thing before I let you go here, Drew. Jackson Churio has been rising to the occasion during this postseason series. He did it in last postseason as well. He moves down to the 2 spot, but said he felt it again in the 9th inning in game 2. Supposedly everything feeling all right today. But do you think that also might have been thought of or a corresponding move as to why maybe Isaac Collins doesn't get the shot today and it is Brandon Lockridge? They don't want to take Churio out of left field for the time being?
Yeah, and Lockridge can cover an awful lot of ground out there, so that helps you. And then having Frelick available to bench if you do have to make a move with Churio. Having that switch hitter in there, that's a pretty good option to have behind him. So it gives you a little bit of insurance. I think we're making way too much out of this Churio thing. I think they're being cautious with it. Like I said earlier today on the show, for all the talk about him feeling at the last game, let's not forget he was on deck there in the 8th inning when Ortiz was up. So, obviously he was feeling all right. Obviously he got through the off day yesterday, but I think they're definitely being cautious with it.
Drew Wagner, Forbes Sports. Make sure you follow him on Twitter @byAndrewWagner. Have a good rest of your day, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Later.
There he is, Drew Wagner off the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Tommy Wortz, Josh Albrecht joining me for the last segment here on the leadoff show ahead of game number 3 against the Chicago Cubs. Josh, I am so upset that you wanted to come on because you just bring stress, man. You just bring way too much antsiness. And everyone here, we were talking about the next series with Sparky earlier in the show.
Heard you doing that.
You are just like everyone here now all of a sudden sweating because you came on.
Oh, I'm I apologize that this is, I don't know, a big game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, well, a lot of you guys are talking like, well, they're up 2-0. It's in the bag. Let's talk about the championship series. No. We got to focus on this game about to start. They got to be locked in. They got Lockridge out there. Listen, a lot of emotion right now, Tommy.
Yeah.
Okay? A lot of emotion. Again, this is not just because it's a postseason game. It's a postseason game against the Cubs, and we're not at home.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people are just assuming, well, listen, we won the first 2. Yeah, we were supposed to win the first 2. That's how it works. If the Cubs would have won one of the first 2, then we would have been in big trouble because we did what we were supposed to do. Now it's on them to do what they are supposed to do, right? That's how it works. That's why we were the higher seed. We get more home games.
Yes.
Okay? And so this is not in the bag. They still have to play the right style of baseball. And my brain is I'm looking for what's going to be that key. I'm looking for what that key difference is going to be today.
Well, why don't we hit it right now? Let's do that right here. Let's get to our keys to the game.
How does the crew win today's game? Who needs to step up? Let's find out with the keys to the game. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Keys to the game, how we always wrap things up on the leadoff show. I will say this before I give a key to the game, just to counter your points, Josh. I'm just choosing to believe. Like I'm not choosing stress. I'm not choosing antsiness. I'm not choosing worry.
Good.
Because anytime I do that this season, this Brewers team decides to say, why did you think that way? Why did you do that? Why were you not all in? I'm all in on this Brewers team. I think that they have proven that their style and brand of baseball has just been flat out better than Chicago's over the last 2 games. And so where I point
Absolutely it has.
where
There's no
I
way to
point
deny
to
that.
for a key to the game, I'm looking at Quinn Priester, obviously. Feels like that's not a surprise. So I'll go around the horn. But Quinn Priester, if he can get you to that 5, that like Drew Wagner said 2 times through the order today, I'm feeling very good about what the Brewers' chances could be, even if it's in Wrigley. And on top of it, I would like to see the Brewers replicate what the Cubs have done in the first 2 games. Make some noise in the top of the first. The Cubs have done it. Why not you? You go ahead, get a run across, whether it is via the homer or they want to play their Brewer style of hitting 3 doubles in a row. Either one works for me, but I don't want to steal everyone's keys to the game. I'll just stick with Quinn Priester, 5 innings, 2 times through the order. That's my key. Josh, what do you got?
Well, first of all, I definitely think you're right because this was it, right? This is why we didn't have Priester in game 2 because we were holding him out for this game, right? That was the whole strategy. That was the whole kit and caboodle. Well, if that's the case, then he has to be the key to the game because you literally were planning for this game with him.
Right.
So now it's time. It's got to be him. The one thing that I will continue to say is it doesn't matter if this offense does what this offense has done.
Absolutely.
And it's so difficult to do in the postseason. It's so difficult for teams to put up that many runs in the way that they have been putting up runs. Statistically, it just says, how could you possibly do it a 3rd time in a row? I don't know. If that can't happen, if the offense can't be what it has been the last 2 games, it's on Priester and Murph. who made this decision.
Yeah, Charlie Usen producing the show back in the Potawatomi studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Charlie, key to the game if the Brewers are going to come out successful today.
I think if the Brewers are going to come out successful today, it's about making the Cubs make mistakes again. They did it really well in the first couple of games here. Talked about it with Sparky. Putting a guy like Lockridge in the lineup means that the base running should be a little bit more aggressive. Same with the Jake Bauers over and Andrew Vaughn. There's a lot of decisions in this lineup that says that they should be able to make the Cubs have problems at early in the game.
Tigers and Mariners tied up 3-3 heading into the top of the 6th inning. That's going to do it for us here at the leadoff show. One more hour, Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Usen to go as well. Brewers, Game 3
Let's
against
go,
the
Brewers.
Chicago Cubs. It's coming up next here. How we feeling about Game 3 in here? Right? Yeah. I'm not worried either.
Okay.
Charlie, thanks so much for helping me out over here. Good luck with Mr. Pfeiffer for one more hour on the other side. I'll be hanging out over here at Natty Oaks. Thanks to Natty Oaks for having us out here right now. One more hour of The Fan here on programming. Charlie Usen, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Wisconsin Sports Daily. That's going to do it for us here at the leadoff show. One more thing before I let you go. Don't forget, send them home.